Hi guys, Jamie here from Start A Riot, and I am here with probably my favourite band in the country, Doe. Probably my favourite band in the world right now. I'm not just saying that because you're here.
That's because you've had 7 gins.
I've only had one today. I've definitely had 7.
Yeah, you're fibbing.
I've had 1 gin, 1 cider. Don't count my drinks, not cool. Welcome to 2000 Trees. Is it your first time here at all?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, we've had lots of friends who've played previous years and have raved about how lovely it is.
Yeah, it's
but
cool.
this is our first time here as a band playing or just as spectators, and we've had a lovely day so far. It's been great.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
You just got here today, right?
We did. Fresh.
Yeah.
A lot fresher.
Fresher playing tonight. Doing an acoustic set.
Yeah.
Ridiculous time.
Yeah, it's like 20 to 1. I'm not going to be sober enough to see that.
Are they going to be sober enough to play it? That's the question.
I don't know them that
George
well.
started drinking at 10:30, so probably not. Although, is it just Catherine playing? This is a pointless tangent.
Anyway,
It's
we
fine.
like fresh. Hi, fresh.
Yes.
You guys are playing in about 2 hours or an hour, maybe,
An hour and 1/2 an hour.
after the front bottoms.
Yes.
And I suspect there'll be a lot of people coming from the front bottoms and walking past your stage. So
That'd be
I
nice.
think you'll catch some people. I think Penis caught a lot of people, Penis, because their crowd was really big and they're fairly new, so it was really cool.
They were great. We watched them earlier, and they were really
were
good.
really good.
Really enjoyed it.
They're sat
very
over there.
cool.
We can see them.
They are,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Oh my god, penis! Oh my god,
hi.
penis! I don't want to shout that too loud.
Please do.
No.
Should we play that game, like in 500 Days of Summer?
Oh,
No.
what game is that? Is that what they, is that
Wait,
what they
what
shout?
one's that? I'm just thinking of Dick and Dom in the bungalow.
Well,
Yeah,
they just
that's what I
shout.
was thinking.
They just shout. You have to shout. Yeah, like bogeys. You have to shout penises louder than the person who did it last.
That's appropriate.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I can't argue with your logic.
People might think we're a band of lad scallions if we do that.
Lad scallions.
Lad scallions.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good.
You know who I'm talking about.
Slaves? No. Anyway, you guys released your your debut album. You've released a 12-inch before, but it was a compilation, first 4, which was fucking excellent. And then you released your proper debut album, Some Things Last Longer Than You, late last year, was it September?
That's right.
On Specialist
You have
Subject
done your
Records.
research.
I think it was like 23rd maybe, or the 9th. It was one of those
It
two.
wasn't nice.
What the hell?
I really like that album, alright. I put it in my albums of the year list. I think it was number 4. You're above modern baseball. Well done.
What?
They've gone now, so
No.
well,
Do they not exist anymore?
they're on hiatus.
They'll
Oh,
come
yeah.
back. I think they'll come back. That
I think they
album was
will.
great. Holy
They're
Ghost
that
is so
Holy
good.
Ghost. It was great.
Yeah, I think.
Not as good as yours, in my.
I disagree, but
Listen, music is an art form and there's no comparison.
Yeah.
No,
there
it's
you go.
it's not a competition. It's true. It's true, but people like lists, so that's the way that you compile
I
it.
like coming very high up in lists.
Exactly.
So it works well for
I like
everyone.
being above Beyonce.
Yeah.
I didn't even put Beyonce in my list.
I know, this is
What you should have.
different list.
I don't think I listened to
on
that
you.
album, to
We
be
were on
honest.
ABC News. ABC News, like the big American ABC News,
Yeah.
on their end of year list, and we were like, was it number
5? I think it was
Oh, it was
5.
6.
6? Number 6.
It's lower
than mine,
And like
mate. It's not
Beyonce
as
was like
high.
number 20 or something.
It was.
And I was
yeah.
like scrolling past the list because we got tagged in it, and I was like scrolling past like Beyonce and David Bowie and stuff like.
Where are we?
Ah,
Oh, we're there.
weird.
It's not Destiny's Child, though, is it? She's peaked in Destiny's Child.
Hey, man. Once
just-
again.
If I meet her, I'm just gonna say.
No, Destiny's Child's good. Beyonce's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Different ways.
Why you gotta compare them all?
Why you got compared, Jamie?
it's kind of like what I do. Like, if you don't have comparison, then nothing means anything. Everything is relative
That's
to
true,
other things.
Nothing means anything.
Everything
that's
is
the whole
meaningless.
thing.
We've got deep pretty quick. So your album came out last year.
Nothing means anything.
Nothing means anything. Everything is meaningless.
It's true.
Is there anything you'd like to say about the album that you haven't talked about in other interviews? You don't do a lot of interviews. You should do more, because I like hearing your opinions
I'd
on
like
things.
to do more. If we're asked, we will do anything. So yeah, please get in touch. hellowearedo@gmail.com.
We do a hell of a lot more worded interviews as opposed to and printed as opposed to like video. We haven't done many video ones.
Yeah.
But
You should be on TV.
Well, I
You
mean,
should be on
you should be on
Jimmy
TV.
Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, someone should put me on TV and then I'll put you on TV.
Aw.
What channel would you be on if you could choose?
I'd just bring back Gonzo.
What was Gonzo?
MTV2, Zane Lowe's
Yeah, I
show.
remember that. Yeah. And he had the brown couch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you just say Channel 5?
Yeah.
Channel 5.
I can't be on
Don't
Channel
insult
He
5.
called you an old
Hey man, Channel 5 is cool.
It is cool.
Channel 5,
It's
the
not
home
cool.
of
I haven't
exploitative
watched
medical
Channel 5 in like
documentaries.
10 years. I have no idea.
The
What
Spice Girls launched Channel 5 in 1997.
They did.
20 years old.
there you go.
I remember watching that launch.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to give away my age. I don't know if I'd say that, but
I'm fucking
When I
old as
was
well, don't
born.
worry.
I'm 65.
You don't look that old.
Oh, thanks. I've got a good plastic surgeon. He's called Dean. Oh shit.
Hey man, if I was a plastic surgeon, I'd be making good money. That's yeah.
You wouldn't have to be in this band for a start.
But
Should we answer the question?
yeah, let's do it. So you released Sincere as the first single and it was fucking incredible.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
I gotta say, the album, it took longer for me to grow on me than first four, and now I like it more than first four. I still love first four, but yeah, it's a grower, definitely. Do you feel like, did you feel that when you wrote it? Like, is it?
I guess like maybe
there
not when we
layers
wrote it,
or-
but in hindsight, I feel like obviously First Four was just a bunch of songs that we'd released as singles.
Yeah.
So I guess like it's more instant because they were all kind of written to be like immediately grabbable. Whereas when we wrote for the album, we were writing songs over a period of weeks to go with each other in kind of like an arc.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we were giving ourselves a bit more leeway to try and do some more interesting things because we've got 10 songs. So it's kind of like, okay, we're going to have like the bangers on there that people will kind of sing along to, hopefully. So we've got a bit more leeway to kind of like make it a bit more interesting and kind of indulge ourselves and write a bit more kind of up and down as
Yeah.
opposed to just, shit, we better write 10 bangers and get them on an album.
Yeah.
And we purposefully write slightly inaccessible things, like combined with accessible things. So I guess like the fact that maybe it's a grower makes sense in that sense.
Yeah.
Because you got that song, is it Reprise? No. Respite, that's the one. Because that kind of like is like slower and then it kind of merges into the next track and it definitely flows more as an album. And then you've got tracks like Korean which just come out of nowhere and is like boom in your face.
Yeah.
This is loud as fuck.
We all really value like the album as a form.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds really wanky,
No,
but like
for sure. No,
it's kind of like it's nice. We all love music that kind of you get an album and you love an album as opposed to just like
It's an experience.
Yeah.
rather
like
than-
listening to it on shuffle or whatever.
I agree. I tweeted at Spotify the other week that there should be a button on Spotify that you can just lock so that it will never ever play albums on shuffle ever. It should be, I mean, it should be banned, but you should have the choice.
Quite like that.
Yeah.
So I wish they would put that in because albums should be listened to
Yeah,
sequentially.
that's true. If you're gonna listen to an album, why would you listen to it on
You can
shuffle?
listen to a single and that's fine.
Yeah.
You put it on a playlist or whatever, but an album.
But maybe like surprises.
No.
Maybe some people do.
But it's shit because when it's on shuffle, it just plays like the wrong track. Like the Pup album, I don't know if you listen to it. Like the first two tracks flow into each other, and Holy Ghost as well. First two tracks flow in, and when it doesn't follow, I'm like, nope, this is wrong.
It was like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then it was a completely different song.
And Pup did exactly the same thing, but
Yeah.
but better.
We've got like on Some Things Last Longer Than You, like when it's listened to kind of completely start to finish, there's like a little interlude in there which is just like, it's like,
Oh yeah, Jamie. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like a little guitar jam for like a minute, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like guitar harmonics and just like a little pretty interlude thing. And we kind of did that and we were like, oh, that's great, that's like a really it's just a guy walking past. We were like, that's really cool, like that kind of comes really naturally after this song, and it just like, it makes a lot of sense to us, and it kind of like, it,
Kind of like a palette cleanser.
yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of like signifies the middle of the album. But then if you didn't listen to that, if you were just kind of jumping all over the place, you wouldn't get that because it comes at the end of another track, and
Yeah,
you listen to it in a row, it's like you're kind of rewarded with this little odd bit that's kind of put somewhere to, you know,
Exactly.
bridge the gap.
Is that I have got the vinyl, but I don't listen to it that much because it's not convenient. Is that the end of side A?
It is.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
very end.
and that's it as well. It's the whole like side A, side B thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of like but
It feels like very deliberate choices in that album that, you know, it's not just coincidental, like thrown together. It's really like thought out, and that's why it's so good. That's why it's so fucking good.
yeah, we spend we're all quite we all spend a lot of time kind of making sure what we do is right for us, and that we really like the end product of kind of the stuff that we're making. So we spend a lot of time considering that kind of stuff and making sure it makes sense to us before anyone kind of hears it and stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm glad it comes across that it's like been purposely put into that order, and you know, as a kind of entire listening experience. That also sounds very wanky, but
No, it's not.
but you know, yeah.
It's art, isn't it, at the end of the day? Sorry, I've got pins and needles so bad. Do you want to move? Nah, it's cool.
Why don't you
Just go right out.
cross-legged?
I was for a second, now I fucked it.
You recorded it with MJ, right, at Suburban Home?
Yeah.
Really good job. He did Martha's album as well, right? That was also on the list.
He did
on my list.
Martha. It's a Martha Trust Fund, Happy Accidents, Joanna Gruesome, Hookworms, who is his own band, who's done all that, and like he's just everything he does is really good. Like all of the albums he produces are really cool. And like,
How is it working with him?
It's really fun. Like, I love the fact that, because we're quite like scathing, and he's also quite
He's
scathing.
doubly scathing.
So
which
if
is
I'm
funny.
like, oh no, this sounds shit, it sounds like something I don't like, then I don't know, he's kind of the same. So if we're like, oh, I don't know, or if we're like freaking out about a certain part of what we're recording, he's like, shut up, it's fine. Like, if you do that thing that you want to do, it's going to sound like, I don't know.
Foo Fighters.
Hey, I quite like Foo Fighters, though, so that'd be okay. but
you don't necessarily want
something
There was-
like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I like
But that was a specific reference. Like, 'cause I remember I suggested we put Phaser on a certain part of a
Oh,
certain song on the
yeah.
album, and he said it sounded like Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And I think that was a relevant.
sometimes
That's
he'll
true.
even like he'll bring tracks up on iTunes and Spotify and say, listen, if you do this, it's going to sound like this. And you're like, okay, fine.
Very fun to work with. Ow, that hurt. He's really good.
He's good if you're stressing out, because he doesn't get annoyed about it, but he's like just scathing enough so that you kind of pull yourself together.
Yeah.
And he's like subtly really good. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not
I
like
just-
a big producer dick.
No,
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna make it sound
he does
like
stuff
this.
subtly and like makes you feel confident and like gets the best out of you without making a big fuss, I guess. I like him. I rate him.
He's great.
You recommend recording with MJ then?
Yes,
Everyone,
100%.
if it's for you. Then
And you guys have had some good. I did say you don't do that too many interviews, but you do. You had good support from people like Kerrang. James McMahon really likes you guys, the editor, and I know Kerrang gets a lot of shit. The magazine, and you know some of it is deserved, not all of it. But I think it's really great that they are.
Sorry, there's a spider on me.
That's okay. I really hate spiders, so I fully understand. But they're pushing bands like you guys and Muncie Girls and Nervous are in this week's edition, and Kamikaze Girls. And it is really cool that they're really pushing DIY music now. I think it's like, have you felt like the support? Have you felt like, have you noticed the boost from being in Kerrang and stuff? You guys had a poster in there the other week, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're totally honest, like, I don't think we've seen any kind of like tangible results or whatever, but we weren't kind of, it's not something that we'd expect from anything. It's more like, it's nice that James chooses to write about those people. It's like really lovely to be in there, especially from a nostalgic point of view, because all of us grew up like reading Kerrang and we're like, oh my god, we've got a poster. So it's like, it's cool in that sense. And there's definitely been like a few people that have kind of been like, oh, I saw you in Kerrang, or we had like a comment on a video. It was actually something like, oh, I came here expecting another Hayley Williams because I saw the pink hair, but luckily you're nothing like them. And it's like, okay.
I think you sound exactly like Paramore, so they're wrong. And Muncie Girls.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Wait.
Just to clarify, we love Muncie Girls,
Yeah, they're
but
a
I
great
did a
band.
tweet that's like, stop comparing us to Muncie Girls, because I think that people, you didn't even ask me, but I'm going for it. I'm ready for this moment. People are quite often kind of like, it's just lazy. I find it frustrating because I think if you look at Muncie Girls and Doe musically, I cannot pick out a thing that sounds similar. Like, there's nothing similar. Like,
Both
they're-
three pieces.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
That's like
and
the
we've both got like
only
a
thing.
Dean,
Yeah,
And
okay,
that's
so
like-
Dean.
And Harry constantly gets you and Muncie Girls Dean mixed up and always calls Luke from Muncie Girls Dean. It's like, he's the only one that isn't called Dean.
I've been told I'm quite like Luke, but I don't know him well enough to know if I'm like him or
Well,
not.
like personality-wise.
Yeah, Gregory said we're the same. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, your point, I think
You're both white.
I agree with Nicola.
Yeah,
that
it's like-
it's wrong. Yeah.
It's basically, it's like obviously a nice compliment to be compared to a good band that you respect, but it just kind of annoys me because I think people do it. I think it's also quite damaging because enough people think, oh, all girl bands sound the same,
Yeah.
or like enough people think there's only like one girl band in the scene without every other fucking band being compared to Muncie Girls. Because if you compare us to like another band, or if you compare any girl band to try and mix up the influences that you put in the FFO, then maybe people will kind of, I don't know, it's like these little steps that kind of contribute to people realising that there's more than one band.
Who would you say you're for fans of?
I knew you were going to ask this question.
We had a big chat about this yesterday. Didn't we? Like it was like an
Yeah.
hour-long chat. I don't know.
Who do
But
you think?
I didn't plan that. I just thought I'd ask it. Would you say the Breeders? Would you like that comparison?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Basically, like, I think it's hard to compare your own band to anything,
It is very
but
hard.
also it's pretty easy to see when you have nothing like musically, factually in common with someone. Like, I'd say we probably sound a bit more like Lemuria or someone than we do Muncie Girls. If you're going to choose someone from that scene, because like there's harmonies and kind of like
Time signature.
weird kind of phrasing and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like more like practical comparisons there. It's not to say we sound anything like them, but if you're going to choose from a pool of the kind of DIY scene that you're working in or whatever, then
I think we
maybe
sound
that.
quite a lot like this, but this is for fans of.
I think like also the for fans of thing is like irrelevant in some contexts. Like
It can be helpful.
it can, but I would urge people to also just like, how does it make you feel? Do you like it? Okay, cool. Like, make your own mind up about why you like the band as opposed to being like, yeah, I don't know, comparing.
I can see merits from the, and like being compared to Muncie Girls is definitely a compliment, like you said. But I don't think you sound necessarily musically like them, but I can definitely see why people who like Muncie Girls would also like you. And like Heather from Slow Coaches called me out about this because I kind of compared Slow Coaches to Doe, and she was like, I don't sound anything like them, mate. And I was like, no, to be fair, but if you like Doe, you'll probably also like Slow Coaches. You might not, but I can see why. You're right, it is kind of lazy.
Slight
But
similarity could be like vibe. But that's an intangible thing.
That's kinda
you
what
can't. Yeah, but people. Yeah, I think people should stop being lazy.
Yeah.
I agree. I apologise to her. We're
I
fine.
asked you and then I
That's
talked
okay.
over you.
Oh no, I just like
sorry.
when you were saying like, do we
For
sound
fans
like for fans of the Breeders and stuff? As Nicola said, like it's quite hard to like do it for fans of for your own band. Like, because sometimes you choose these bands that you like admire. Like when we first started making music together, and like also now like there's like bands like the Breeders and Sleater Kinney, Helium, Pixies, like Weezer, like those kind of. It's all like very kind of 90s, 90s bands that we kind of originally took quite a lot of influence from. And even like when people ask now, like, what does your band sound like? I always hark back to those bands just because I still love them very much. But then there's also a shitload
Say
of
Nirvana.
Nirvana. We sound like Nirvana, the Colchester's premier Nirvana tribute. But what was I saying?
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. There's a whole ton of like modern contemporary bands that we sound like and that we are kind of like similar to, and it's probably more appropriate to do like for fans of those kind of bands. But still, I always kind of, even though we don't necessarily sound like the Breeders or Sleater Kinney or Weezer or whatever, I always kind of use that to refer to just
Yeah,
because
I
it's
think if anything, we do sound like those bands.
I would
Like,
say
If you're gonna fucking like choose a band.
I feel quite uncomfortable comparing a band to anyone because it feels, I don't know, it feels somewhat like indulgent if you're comparing yourself to like people that you're influenced by.
Yeah.
But I would say something that's a bit safer to do is maybe to say influenced by.
Yeah.
Because
right.
then it's like,
There's
you know,
a
they're
happy
influenced
middle
by those
ground.
bands, and then you can kind of like based on the bands they're influenced by, you can maybe paint a picture in your head of what the mesh of those bands, like, you know, kind of like elements of those bands might sound like, as opposed to being like, for fans of this exact band.
I think that's why the term for fans of it has become popular, because it doesn't necessarily mean sounds like. It's like, if you like them, then you might like these. And like they might tour together, like that's a good basis. Like you and Soul Coach have played shows together. I'm pretty sure you and Muncie Girls have played shows together. So it's like you and I was saying that you also, those bands like might play shows together. So if you're fans of this band, then it might be like Tiger's Jaw and Foxing sound nothing like each other, but they toured together. Like Tiger's Jaw headline and Foxing took them out, and they're both doing the Manchester Orchestra tour. So
Yeah.
they're great.
Weird,
Both those
like
bands.
two different vibes, and I was like, this is weird.
Like, but Harry hated, well, no, she didn't hate Foxing, but she didn't get it live. She was like, too depressing, but loves Tiger Shore. Whereas I loved both live.
Yeah.
She now likes
Oh
Foxing,
god,
so it's fine.
sorry, that's quite good.
Do you really hate spiders?
No, I just like, I don't like the feeling of something like crawling on you.
Can I make the tagline for this video, Doe for fans of Muncie Girls? And Paramore.
No, because then
No, I
people will
won't.
actually think it's
Can I make the tagline of this video,
Doe
we
not
fucking hate Muncie Girls?
So, Doe, not for fans of spiders.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on that note, let's finish it. Check out Doe's debut album, Some Things Last Longer Than You. A good place to start is Sincere or Last Ditch, 2 singles. Are they the only 2 you released videos for? Monopoly
too.
as well, you did a video for Noah, which is fucking great. They do,
It's great.
they have
If you
a,
don't like the song, you should watch the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a good
Andrew
job of that.
Northrop is a god.
they have a video that's like Blind Date, if you remember that show. And it's excellent. And
Yeah. Can we shout out Corin Tucker for replying to Nicola's message?
Oh yeah, I should have
That
told
was
people
cool.
that. I sent Corin on Facebook like months ago. She replied to me the other day like, "I'm so honoured. Thanks for sending this." And I was
That
like,
was cool.
"Yeah, that was cool."
I think I see Ren is sat on her own from Petrol Girl, so I think that's my cue to go over there.
Oh yeah.
Thanks guys, thanks so much. Check out Doe, listen to Doe, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.